Welcome back, and today I want to talk about how to make a challenge deck build. Now, to get started, we have to pick a challenge that I can use as an example so I can give you the tips and show you how to apply them to build your own challenge deck build. The challenge that I'm going to be using today for examples is one I did just a little while ago. This is the $25 total deck challenge, and this is where the entire deck, including the commander, has to be under $25. This, of course, does not include basic lands because most people will have basic lands either laying around or have someone that has extras that they can use, or even some local game stores will have them for free as well. The first thing that you're going to have to do for any challenge video is identify the main obstacle that you're going to face while building that deck. For this deck specifically, since it's under $25, it's an extreme budget, so you're going to have to get each card for under about 39 cents per card average because you have approximately 36 lands and 64 main board cards. This presents a unique challenge because some strategies have key pieces that you need and will consume most of your budget. So I thought about it for a while and decided that I would choose a Voltron style deck. For those who are not aware of what that means, it is a deck where you try to make one big creature using enchantments and equipments, usually your commander, so you only have to do 21 damage instead of 40. Next, I had to figure out a commander that I wanted to use, and I have always wanted to do a Rogue Rock Son of Rogod deck, which is the 0 cost commander, but I needed a partner. So I looked up partner commanders and went through them all and found a commander that I thought would help me find the equipments that I need and help that strategy that I was trying to go for. With this in mind, I chose Eligith because it turns scrying into card draw, and this means that I can get a lot of cheap card draw, taking care of one of the main pillars of building a commander deck. So now that I got that done, I knew that I needed some equipments. I went through and found some cheap cost, high power equipments like Argentum Armor and Brass Knuckles to use because they would really beef up my commander and make it pretty useful in terms of combat damage. Now with that out of the way, all I had to do was figure out how to fill the rest of the card slots, and I figured that getting to the equipment quicker was a very good strategy, and using Eligith I could get a lot of cheap card draw and accomplish that. So I filled the rest of my cards out with a lot of scry cards, knowing that it would become card draw when Eligith is on the field. And realistically, even when Eligith isn't on the field, scry is going to help me sort through the cards and figure out what I need anyway, so it's not going to hurt having it there. The one thing that I thought would be more problematic than it was for the budget at least was Mana Ramp, but it turns out because of the amount of reprints they get, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, regular Signets, and Manolith are all pretty cheap and reliable sources of ramp, so it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. With that being said, we've covered all the specific stuff to my challenge deck, so let's go back over and recap the points to help you build your own challenge deck. The first thing you need to do is figure out the main challenge to build the deck, and for me that was finding the right strategy and commanders. For you, it could be figuring out a specific win con because some decks just have weird ways of winning. For another person it might be what cards they have in their collection. There's different challenges that you can give yourself, and depending on that challenge would depend on what the main obstacle that you're going to have is. However, identifying that is the main thing that you have to do first. Once you've solved that main obstacle, then you can move on to the next step, which is figuring out what the most important part of your deck is and focusing on that because that's going to be what you need to be strong in order for the deck to be working correctly, and the rest of your strategy can be a little more flexible. For example, I focused on the equipments first because that's the most important part for my strategy in the deck. I need the equipments, otherwise my commander isn't going to be able to deal the combat damage that I need it to. So I focused on that first, and the card draw mana ramp was a lot more flexible for the deck. Then once you get past the important part of your deck, usually the rest of it will kind of fall together. It might not be the most optimal way, it might not be the best way, but it'll still be able to allow you to win games usually. For me, I chose mana ramp as one of the least important parts at the beginning, not because it's not important to have mana ramp, it is important to have mana ramp. However, typically you're able to have a little more flexibility with it with the types of mana ramp you have. And there's some slightly more expensive mana ramp. It might slow your deck down just that little bit, but if you're not in a super competitive meta, that's not going to matter too much, and I'm not. So I knew that that was something that I could have a little bit of flexibility with, and I took advantage of that. This means that it wasn't going to be optimal necessarily, but it would still allow me to win games, and in the end, isn't that kind of really all that matters, that your deck allows you to play and have fun? I hope this video will help you learn from my experience of building a challenge build and let you apply it to building your own challenge build. If you found this video helpful, consider leaving a like, and if you want more videos like this one, subscribe. That's all, until we meet again, whether on this plane or another one, have a wonderful day.